April 25, when earthquake came, I was cooking with my niece. It was my son's 5th birthday. We are going to celebrate. That day we just in confusion what to do, what's going on, and nobody dared to enter the house. I thought about making temporary shelter, and I did. I went to buy tripal, we make shelter. Then I checked, in Facebook. There are so many news about earthquake. People are dying, and the hospital were full of injured people and dead bodies. I started doing voluntary work, but that was not possible for me. Being a mother of 5 years old son, I couldn't leave my home and go out to see or help. So, but I wanted to help people. So I made a tea, few liters, and I went to nearby the hospital, Nepal Medical College.
Rewati didn't know what to expect when she first went to the hospital. Patients were being treated by hospital staff in temporary shelters. Her thermos flasks of tea lasted only a few minutes.
So I got idea like this is very good work. I need to continue, but it was not enough. So I need to make more tea for them. I got 2 jars. Each of them were 15 liters, and I made 15 liters red tea, black tea, and 15 liter milk tea. And I went there, and they said like tea was really tasty. Thank you. Even doctor said thank you, and the patients, and it made me, it encouraged me to work, and I felt really good.
Everyone in the hospital appreciated the work that Rewati was doing with her team of volunteers. Friends on Facebook from around the world who had wanted to support the relief efforts in Nepal responded, and soon Rewati was able to buy more tea-making equipment. Rewati was now able to make tea for 2 hospitals, the Nepal Medical College and the Orthopedic Hospital in Jorpati.
And when I went there, the situation was the same. And I talked with director of hospital, and he was so, he requested it's a really good help. So after from the third day of our first tea distribution, we started making tea for 2 hospitals.
Distributing tea for 2 hospitals, Rewati realized that the health service was free, patients were being treated for free, but many had come without money, and in any case there were no shops open to buy food. Everything was closed. The hospitals suggested that she provide some food with the tea. Rewati thought about all the resources required to feed hospital patients: the energy, the organization, the spices, the plates, and the cleanup.
So I just thought about, okay, why not egg? It's a very good food, easy to cook, easy to distribute. You don't need a plate, you don't need spices to add it. Just 30 minutes it takes to boil it. So from the 4th day, I started boiling egg and the tea, and I started distributing tea and egg into hospitals.
During the tea distribution days, Rewati was up at 4 a.m. and finished at 7 p.m. Making tea was now taking all her time. The local supermarkets had opened, and her days were spent shopping, cooking the eggs, and making tea. Delivering 1,500 cups of tea and 300 eggs twice a day to the 2 hospitals. There was no time to follow the news on TV or go out, and after 9 days, it was time to stop. Life in the city was getting back to normal, and Rewati wanted to find out what was going on in the remote areas.
And I joined the one medical team who was going to provide health service in Kabri district. And during that trip, I talked with the people, women and children, and what their needs, what they are getting, what kind of relief they are getting. And so my brothers from Saudi Arabia, he had a friend, and they had sent me some money, for tea project, but I had already stopped. so I couldn't use it. And they asked me to just help some people. So I wanted to find what is their real need, and I went again to Sintupaljak with another relief team. They were distributing food and basic needs in Dalit community.
Rewati talked with many people during these distribution days to find out what they had received. In less than 2 weeks, most had obtained materials and built themselves temporary shelters. They had received essential food supplies more than once, and they had also received medical attention.
But children were running here and there when we reached there, just grabbing, begging like what they can get to eat. And till that time, school was closed, and we didn't have any idea when school will open. So I thought we need to keep them busy on study, even though school was closed, even though their house was collapsed. Now they have a tent, temporary shelter to stay. They should not stop studying. Education is very important. So I thought, okay, with this money that my brothers and his friend has provided, I'm going to buy bags.
Rewati realized that for the parents of these children in the badly affected areas, their efforts would be directed towards building shelter and providing food, and that the education of the children would not be a priority. In that case, providing a basic school bag, complete with copybooks and pencils, would send a strong message to the children that they should continue with their education despite the difficulties they were facing in their communities.
In my previous experience of research, what I have found is that many children, they drop out. And the reasons, there are many different reasons behind their dropout. But one of them was their parents cannot invest on their basic needs like stationery, sandals and bags.
When Rewati asked the children in these communities what they had lost, they told her it was their books, pencils, their school bags, and their sandals. And so she decided to provide them with this basic school bag filled with the things they had lost, to give them a new start in their studies. Rewati knew that to have the tools for learning, they would be able to build positive experiences out of the trauma of the earthquakes, and that these books, pencils, and colors would give them an opportunity to be creative.
When you are very creative, when you do something like drawing, coloring, it releases your tensions, and it makes you also, gives you positive energy. So I wanted to give that opportunity to children, and also it's a good feeling for parents also if somebody take care of their children. And for children, it's a really good thing to get new bag, new sandals, and something to play with. They can play with, And also another fact that when I went with the food relief team, there was conflict. People started, like they also one community wants that food relief, and another there are limited food. And I really scared. I cannot do that. I felt like I cannot, handle this kind of conflict. But if I provide bag and all these things to their children, if their parents comes to fight for them to get school bags, that's a very good sign. So I wanted to avoid that conflict. I want to be safe, and also want to bring a smile on children and their parents.
Rewati decided to put 4 exercise books, maths, English, Nepali, and a drawing book into the bag, as well as sets of colored and lead pencils, erasers, and sharpeners. Also included were a pair of sandals and a whistle for emergencies.
Because many children here, they walk through the jungles to reach, and also earthquake was, the tremor was coming and going, and then there was a chance of landslide afterwards. So I thought about their security. If they have a whistles, that it can be also very helpful for them.
In the area where Rewati lives, there are dozens of small manufacturers making everything from shoes to exercise books and school bags. She decided to work locally, saving time on product development, reducing transportation costs, and at the same time giving employment opportunities to people in her community.
My first idea to support few children from the money that my brothers and his friend from Saudi Arabia had sent. But when I made my first donation in Sindhu Palchok, like I saw many children, they came, without their sandals. And during that donation program, I realized I need to do more. It should not be stopped only helping few children there. And I started thinking about how I can make it possible. If we really want, we can do it. We don't need to, ask for big money or big organization. It should not be, always expect for government to do things or big people to do. We also can do. And we made a web page and Facebook page, and we started as a campaign to support these children. Through this social, network and the videoing and photography, it really helped us to raise fund. And most of the fund came locally. And the idea was to support, earthquake only affected 14 districts, but rest of the district was very fine, and they could, if they really want, we could, help so much to each other. So even I asked with my sister, you can help these children. And then I started talking with my friends. Gary started talking with his friends, and we started getting support. When people saw my work, our campaign in Facebook, they started supporting. So I had to continue. And it was possible only because of social media. We have started crowdfunding initiative to support this project, and it will run for 2 months until the end of August.